Today we are doing a hot takes episode. This is Alex Hirsch of Sons of Our Lives. And today we have two amazing people with us. One of them being our usual hot take partner, which is Hannah Holt. Say hi.
Hey.
Of Tallymark Studio. And then we also have our usual co-host this time with us.
It's Kat. Hi.
Kat of Calligraphy. So, welcome back, everyone. So excited to have the whole crew here today. This is very exciting. I feel like it's a very monumental. I don't know why it feels monumental, very silly, but it does. We're all available at the same time.
Honestly, the biggest feat.
Crazy.
Literally wild. So just to reintroduce the series, if you're new here or if you forget what hot takes are about, it's a fun mini series we're doing in addition to our usual keeping up with the calligraphers topics that we do. Our goal is to really start conversations, bring different perspectives to the table, do it in a loving way. And it's, as always, there is no one way to live your life and no one way to run your business. So you do you, boo-boo. We are just here to add some thoughts. And today's topic, which is kind of an addition to our last episode that we did with Sylvia of Via Calligraphy. We talked a little bit about dress codes, and a lot of that did pertain to working with luxury brands. So Hannah and I actually did do a recording of this literal months ago. So we're both going to feel like we're repeating ourselves here. Somehow Alex deleted this episode, but I'm excited because I think this will we have even more context to this now that the one with Syl came out. And so I think we have a lot more to add. So I don't know if I buried the lead or if I actually said it already, but our statement today is luxury brands might not always be it. And so that's where we're starting.
That's the hot take. We love it.
That is the hot take. Yeah. So agree or disagree. Depends who you are. Would either of you like to start?
Yeah, happy to. We'll jump right in. Luxury brands. I mean, when you think about it, in the industry, it's a big deal. It's this is the client. Oh my gosh, I get to work with these household names. Everybody knows who they are. And when you tell people oh, I got to work with, Gucci, or I got to work with, Lamborghini, that's cool. And everyone's I know who that is. Nobody knows what calligraphy is, but they're I know that one. So that's very exciting. I feel you get to name drop a little bit. And so celebrate that. When you get to first do that, that's huge. But then you get in it and you get to see how the sausage is made a little bit. And it's kind of not all it's cracked up to be, It's I was just saying earlier, I like to consider my luxury brands or designer brand name jobs the bill paying jobs. Brings in the paycheck, gets the money going, but it's not always a great time.
Yeah.
Agree.
Agree. I would say, when I definitely I've been doing this for almost 8 years now. Part of that was part-time and it's been 4 years full-time. And I remember getting my first luxury brand thinking, I'm oh my God, this is the coolest that I've made it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a huge milestone as a calligrapher. You're looking around and you're seeing other people who are in events, who are working with these luxury brands and finally getting to work with them. It's it feels like a really big deal. And then exactly like you said, you kind of learn how things go. And sometimes it's really aligned. Sometimes you work with a team at a store and they're not that uptight, stuffy, because sometimes those older brands, they kind of give that vibe, right? Of
right.
We're traditional, we're old money, we're da-da-da, right? And so sometimes you get in the store and while that might be the brand's messaging, sometimes the team is whatever, we're gonna be wearing our fits and we're gonna be wearing them well and we're gonna be excited that you're here, we love artists and supporting artists. And then sometimes you will walk into a store where they're we are prestigious and any other luxury brand is not actually luxury, and they'll talk shit on other brands and you're okay, you're I just I'm just here, okay, cool, whatever. So I think that's been a little bit my experience where sometimes it really just depends on the store too. The brands are really cool, it can be a milestone, and then sometimes you walk in and the team is amazing and they're a little bit more inclusive, and then sometimes you walk in and they are full elitist, if you
totally
less the much words. Kat.
No, I feel especially in the beginning, booking those clients is almost like a social proof. Like there is a piece of it where I feel like you're co-associating yourself with those brands, and that like does lend itself to be people like perceiving you and your business. Maybe it's more seriously, maybe it's more high end or whatever. Cause again, you're like in the same sentence as those things. So the social proof to it, which is super exciting. But then I think as you maybe book different types of events, or you just see how different events are run, or you maybe move outside of just retail, and maybe see what other options might be available. Yeah, kind of looking back, you're like, wait, I don't know that I love that. I didn't really like sitting there for 6 hours to do 4 envelopes, but I got that bag, so I guess that's cool. Money bag, not a purse, just to clarify.
And not even afford a keychain. Yeah.
So true.
No, I've done the math so many times where I'm like, so how much is a keychain? And they're like, it's this amount. I'm like, okay, so that's 90% of what I'm making today.
Exactly. Cool. Which is like a great segue into one of the reasons luxury brands may not be it is that the budget is not always there. Luxury brands that are selling bags for 5 figures and then come to you and want to pay you $50 an hour. That's not in alignment. That's like not it. That is a real life example that I've had before, where it was a luxury brand and they came asking for some calligraphy during the holidays, and they said that their budget was $50 an hour. Because they're insane. And so that is a little bit like, that's a hard pass, obviously. Like that's like far and beyond, way below what they should be paying, particularly because what we're asking for is nearly a drop in the bucket in what they're making on a single day.
On a single purchase.
I mean, truly, yes. Like you buy one bag, you buy one dress or whatever, shoes, whatever it is, and that's basically what they're going to be paying you for like a shift, which is bananas. So in my experience, a lot of brands, they'll hire agencies to hire you, and then you get that lame agency rate, which shouldn't exist for us calligraphers, like we talked about in our subcontracting episode. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I have worked with some brands that do have like a appropriate budget. Sometimes they come to me and give me a rate that's higher than what I normally charge, which is awesome, but that is very few and far between. I don't know what your experience is, but for the most part, it's either on par or much lower, which is just like easy to me.
It's like all over the place. And I think especially your location matters, like we've said in so many of our episodes, for a variety of reasons. Alex and I are in SoCal. So, I mean, there's a dime a dozen. Absolutely do pit us against each other and just drive the rate lower and lower and lower, because someone will take it, unfortunately. And hopefully that's not the case. And we'll, continue to support each other to raise that up. But unfortunately, someone in this area is going to take that rate, and they don't care who's in the seat. Like, I don't know if that's also a hot take or not, but like, they don't care who's in that seat in our area at all. Like, they will replace you so fast. If you're not available, they don't care. They're on to the next one. They sent out 10 inquiries at the same time they reached out to you. Maybe location has something to do with it. Maybe you're more middle America and there's only one of those stores in the next 4 states or something like that. Maybe they do have a smaller marketing budget in that area, right? So, I mean, rarely is it above and beyond. I think the only time I've had above and beyond was for not retail stuff. It was like they're doing a private client dinner or something along those lines, but it's usually some type of like a special budget that's not their regular event budget, or not even event, but like retail budget.
It's very interesting. Yeah, when it comes to, oh my gosh, I have like so many thoughts right now. Okay, I'm going to put them in sections. So the first thing about the rate, I've accepted lower than my usual rate because again, they are sending this to 50 different artists across the nation, and they're like, we don't care, we're just going to have a seat filler. So that's one thing, which is great if you end up getting that and then you're always the seat filler. That's great. You're like, awesome, I love this. But then on the other hand, you're like, well, they're not even expecting a good lettering style for what we're doing, or they might have someone doing portraits or flowers or whatever, and I feel like that I don't know about you guys, but that kind of gets in my head. I'm like, oh, well, actually, like, I'm not special at all. Like, it doesn't really even matter that this is a milestone. It's cool when you're talking to like crews or clients or like, normal person on the street who doesn't really know art and stuff. And they're like, oh, you've worked with so-and-so. And they're like, that's amazing to them, right? And then you're like, but like, it really doesn't matter because they're not really hiring you for your specific style, even though you'd think luxury brand means luxury lettering, luxury style, luxury experience. And so I definitely mentally struggle with that because, that kind of goes into my next thing that I have in my head about like the luxury experience part, in my opinion, is reserved only for the clients that are like walking in the store. And then we're definitely like treated like other of like a background item. And that I struggle with mentally because it's like, as I said in the previous episode, we're artists. We want to express ourselves. Like you're hiring an artist. That should be a really cool experience. And I feel like they're kind of missing the boat when it comes to these activations because you could be hiring someone really cool, really talented. Like there's so many talented people in the world. So like, why are we just seat filling?
Totally. It feels very much, it feels very much like they're looking for a workhorse, just somebody to like fulfill an objective, which, if we like, it ties very much back to what you guys are talking about with Sil of like, you're just meant to like look like you're blending in with the background and not even, we can touch on dress code a little bit. Like when you talk about dress code, like with a lot of these brands, it's not even about dressing for the vibe. A lot of times they're having you dress so that you're really not seen. I've shown up one time in the dress code and I don't match the staff. Like the staff actually has an outfit on. They actually look like they're cute. They like look like they're representing the brand and like I'm all here for dressing for the brand, looking like you're because they've got like this
aesthetic or design.
Exactly, that you have to uphold. And look, I get it. I'm here for that. That is part of our job. But sometimes I'm asked to dress as if like I should like not be seen or heard. They should only be seeing like what I'm handing off to them, which I think to your point, Alex, like totally misses the boat. Like I think that you're missing the connection between like, if it didn't matter what we were doing or what we looked like, why don't you just have these pre-made? Don't even have me on site. Don't even have me here.
Just buy a stamping machine.
Totally. Yeah. Like, why are we even doing that? And that just like completely misses the objective of letting a live artist. Here's this cool, interesting person that does this very cool, beautiful thing. And I get to engage with them. I get to interact with them. I get to like have this whole experience with the art. And that's a huge pillar of my business of like building connection through art. Like, that's like the reason I do what I do. And now they're hiring me to just be like, hey, just be a machine for us. See you later. And like, that's like really frustrating. It's just like, what are we even doing here? Like, what is the point?
Or alternatively, they hire a bunch of calligraphers to write in a style that's not calligraphy, and they actually just want something in print, and you're like, wait, what just
But a very specific type of print.
A very, like, weird...
Get it right.
Yeah. And you're like, again, what?
You almost have to separate, like, let it be this cool thing, this cool milestone in your business. Let it pay your bills. Let that excite you. Get that money, get that bag, 100%. But that has to be separate from like your, like, don't let them and the way that they set the situation up feed into your worth or make you feel unworthy or that your business is less than. Like, you have to keep those things separate because they truly don't give a fuck. Okay. And you just have to know that going in. And if you can take that on the chin going in, then that's probably a really good fit for you. But like, if you are especially newer in your business and you're still trying to find your footing and you're really trying to start feeling like comfortable and confident, take the confidence boost of booking it. But then if things start feeling weird or like they're treating you differently than maybe you thought, let that be separate of everything else. And just because the team on site loves you doesn't mean corporate gives a fuck about you either. They might be like, give me your card. I want to request you for next time. Corporate doesn't give a shit. They're going to do whatever they want to do. A lot of times the store team does no say in anything. So keep that separate.
I feel like that entire monologue was just for me. Alex?
Feeling a little called out.
Stop caring.
Take what you need.
And that's so true. I mean, that's why I say like a lot of these jobs are like the bill pay job. It's like, oh, I've got a free weekend and they've reached out to me about this. Yeah, I'll take it up. But I'm not reaching out to these brands. I'm not trying to get them to hire me anymore. And like 100%, that's what you do when you first start. Please don't mishear me. Get your foot in the door, get things going, get the job. It is a big deal. But then once you start getting other work that actually aligns with your values and with your business, this becomes bill paying. Let them come to you. You get to be in like in the pilot seat, the control seat. What do they say there? You get to be the leader.
The driver's seat.
The driver's seat. Oh my
There
God.
we go.
I was like,
don't
planes immediately. Conductors, trains, whatever. In the drive, you get to be in the driver's seat, and you get to dictate what you will and will not take. You know, a lot of times for me, it's like, oh, I've got this day's free. It's in a week. Yeah, by all means, I'm gonna take that. That works out well for me. But then, like, I'm not an artist at that job. My like mindset for that is this is a job. I'm not creating art. I'm here as a machine and they're paying me a bunch of money for it. This is going to be an easy invoice by all means. But yeah, that's a mindset.
Or alternatively,
Easy money, horrible invoice.
Horrible process of which to receive said money.
Exactly.
Great transition. A lot of times I feel like the payment terms, and I think there's laws in California. I don't know if I like just read something about how payments for subcontractors or contractor, whatever it is, need to be net 30 or less. I don't know where
we're about to change that immediately in my contract.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But there are a lot of luxury brands where they've done net 60, which means
I've done a net 90 before. I was like, what are you doing that you need 90 days? Get your shit together.
For anyone who doesn't know what net 30, 60, 90 is, which is, I don't know why that was like cute in my head because I listened to Tick Tick Boom, the musical. Anyways, 30, 60, net 30, 60, 90 are basically the terms from which, like, from your event date, you will get paid net 30 days after that. So if your event was on August 2nd, you're going to get paid on September 2nd. Or
yeah, why didn't you just pick a round number?
I don't, listen, can't understand how my brain
You're going to get paid 30 days after your event. Or up to. They have up to 30 days, I think is technically what it is. They will pay you the 30th day at 11:59 p.m.
No, I've never been earlier. When there's like net 30 or 60, like I've never been paid earlier.
Yep.
Almost always later, in fact.
Yeah. So I would say anticipate that. And the reasons why is because basically with big companies, they have so many departments it needs to go through. Again, let's say there's like 150 stores in one country, you know, those stores, they're all paying their employees, they have payroll, and then they have a whole department for like which payroll, and then people making commissions, and then da-da-da. And then when they're doing the special activations, that's the marketing budget. And then where does that come from? And it has to go through all these different channels to get to you, which sometimes is not the most efficient process on their end. So, you know, if anyone's worked in corporate America or any sort of bureaucratic system, you know that sometimes things are not always efficient. And so that's usually why, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but why they ask for the at least net 30. Net 30 makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, it's got to go through all the channels, the people. Net 60, I'm like, what are we doing? Net 90, what? Sorry. Really, what are you doing?
But it's important to know that because especially if you, depending on where you're at in your business, don't count on that money coming the day of your event or after. So if you are using this to pay your bills or, you know, whatever, you're using this money, it's allocated, pre-allocated in your head. That's something knowing stepping into this, that like, you're not getting that money until another 30 days. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah. And especially, I have a hard time getting a lot of these types of clients to pay a deposit. I always require a 50% deposit upfront, and it's really difficult to get that paid. For these brands, a lot of times I won't. Most recently, I worked with a brand. They were really wonderful in the sense of like, I didn't get a deposit, but the event was canceled a week in advance, and they paid me my full rate, which never happens.
Wow. I love that for you.
Same. I was like, wait, I opened the email and they're all ready. They're like, it's canceled, but you'll get fully paid. I was like, what? Amazing. Like, this never happens. So that's how, to be clear, that's how it should be. You've set aside this time, you've turned down work, like, you should be getting paid for that. But my deposit often acts as that kind of safeguard of like, if anything were to happen, at least I get this 50%. And a lot of these brands won't do it because it takes so long for things to go through. And to your point, Kat, like, budget, you have to budget properly. Like when these invoices are coming in, you know they're not coming in when they're supposed to. So you just got to like push that and kind of, you know, that's kind of bonus money sometimes in my brain.
Yeah. Or just plan around it. Yeah.
And whenever it comes in, it feels like a windfall and you're like, sweet, this is great. The other side of this is like, it definitely plays into like these tools of oppression for these large companies. Cause I've been with a company before where in my contract, I have a due date for my invoices. And if you are late, I can charge a 1.5% late fee every day that it's late. I've worked with a large company, not technically a luxury brand, but a household name, where they were 6 months late on paying me.
Yeah.
And I can put a 1.5% charge every day that that's late. But now that means I'm not going to get paid for at least another 6 months, because now they have to approve a new invoice. I have to go to fight for it. So for me, it's just easier to get the original invoice. And now I've been paid super late. I'm not owed the late fee that I'm actually due. And so then I'm just forced to kind of like accept their terms when they've already agreed to my terms when they've signed the contract. So it just kind of puts you in this holding pattern where, like, yes, 100% I am in a position where I can fight for that. But this was a big invoice and I've been counting on this money for 6 months. Like, what do you do there? You know, that just kind of puts you in a corner where you're like, well, I guess I'm just going to, I mean, again, they are paying the full invoice, but
well, and then
what are
you
you supposed
feel
to do then?
right, because you're like the one that's the squeaky wheel. Like I just had this with one company.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
We all just had this.
You're right. I think we've all had this. I think it was like 80 plus days. And I was like, I just need like an ETA. Like, what is the
Tell me
ETA?
when it's going to be there.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even care if it's net 90 at this point. I just want to know when do it anticipate it so that I can stop following up and take this like one tab out of my head. Oh my gosh, what else was I going to say? Oh, the contracts part. Sometimes like, I feel like sometimes they will sign your contract. Sometimes they won't. Also,
it's a 50-50, I feel like.
Also, yeah, I was gonna say with a luxury brand that I worked with, I ended up having to compromise on the late fee, even though my late fee is pretty similar to yours, like that structure. And they were like, we can only afford this. And I'm like, you guys were this much late. And then you kind of risk almost as a business owner from being that squeaky wheel of like being like, hi, can you pay me for the work that I did? But you sound like, excuse me, pay me. Like you sound demanding for some reason, which I hate. I hate the mindset of that. And then even though you literally worked and you agreed to terms, and then it's like, are they ever going to work with me again?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I had to be the squeaky wheel 700 times to be like, hello, invoice. So I don't know. It's very annoying. And they have the legal team to be able to fight your late fees if they don't want to pay it as well. So like you're just a little solopreneur, at least for me, trying to work with these big ass companies that have an entire team dedicated to contracts and invoices and all these things. And you're like, trying my best.
Just me.
Just calling like my local legal aid center, asking them for free what I'm allowed to do. Like, I got no team. The team is me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it'd be really intimidating, both of like knowing that you might not ever work with them again and waiving these sort of things, and then also just having to then waive those things. It's very frustrating.
When you were talking about contracts, sometimes they won't sign my contract, but they require me to sign their contract. And a lot of times that requires an NDA.
Mm-hmm.
NDA, not only that's a lot of times trying to cover, like, if you're in the back room and you see our sales numbers,
like their goals,
you can't tell anybody, which, like, fair, I don't care. But a lot of times these also include that you're not allowed to post or use any photos of your work during the job, which now if you end up working with these kinds of brands frequently, you don't get any evidence of you doing live work. And so when you're trying to market yourself, whether it be photos for your website or social media or whatever it is, or even just having recent photos to send to clients that are like, what do? You're completely losing out on all of that. And that is loss of income and loss of potential jobs. And that is garbage.
And Hannah
all in the name of like protecting their assets, because God forbid the next luxury brand over is like, oh my God, that seeded paper that you used for this event, like I must now duplicate. Like, no, that's not what's happening, but sure.
Well, they're trying to say that they're trying to hide that they're doing an activation as if they're the ones that invented like brand activation.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, your like calligraphy stationery for Christmas is not any different than the 8 other activations I'm doing.
Right.
We're all doing it. It's not like you're not like the first people to be doing it anymore.
Right.
It's definitely very interesting, the posting too, because I've seen calligraphers post and I'm like, almost like, hey, did they say you're allowed to post? And they're like,
yeah. And a lot of people are just like, no. I'm like, bold of you.
Move.
I'm in California and they're absolutely would go after me.
You've signed all the paperwork that says I'm not going to do this, and they will see it and they will come after you. It's just not worth the risk. And so in that sense, you're just like losing out on evidence of you being a working artist, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some people would say too, at least you're getting that income. I think it's a little tricky because again, we were talking about earlier, most of the time you're working for less of a rate than you typically would anyway.
Yeah.
So if you were making up for that, that would make a little bit more sense, that I'm white labeling and I'm not using my name, and you're not able to put anything on social media, put anything on your website, put anything on your promotional materials, put anything, anywhere where people can see that you worked with them.
I have heard some artists charging more for NDAs, which is an interesting thought. I'm kind of into it. You are like getting an extra premium service by like not being able to share your work or doing whatever. So I don't know. I've never done that.
I've heard of it, but not necessarily. I haven't heard of anybody specifically doing it for the luxury brands. I've heard of it for if it's like a celebrity event where they're like, well, I can't post about this kind of thing. But I haven't heard, ball out by all means. If you can get it, go for it. But I think it's hard because we're talking about, to your point, a lot of times too, you're not taking these pictures, and that's hard for a lot of artists where this is the first exciting thing and they're excited to share about it. And it's like, nope, but you can't. Here's this gag order.
I think it's a little different too with celebrities, because it's like they're going to refer you, or like
maybe.
whether the planner or maybe, but like you would anticipate they market you in a sense, like
the potential for it is a little bit more likely than the potential
and then you get more
brand, for sure.
Well, and they're looking for the premium of privacy. There's a different function of that NDA versus the NDA of these brands. They're trying to keep it private for their guests or for themselves, whereas I feel these brands are just like, don't share.
Gatekeep. You know what I mean? It's the difference between like
I don't want to post this either, if we're being honest.
Yeah, right. Not super proud of this either, so
I don't like your weird italic style. Yeah. I'm not going to post it anyway, but thank you so much.
So, I don't know. I think it just goes back to, does the brand align with you as a person, your values, your work style, your aesthetic, your whatever, right? And if not, you have a personal choice to take it or not, take it or leave it.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, that's the goal. The goal is not to work with a luxury brand, but get to a point where you can say no to the brands you don't want to work with, because it's not always an option. And I can absolutely recognize that I can very easily say no to certain brands because their practices don't align with me, or the activation doesn't align, or it doesn't like promote my business, or whatever it is. Like, I can say no to that, but not everybody can. And that's the goal, right? To be able to get to a point where you can say no to a luxury brand as opposed to the goal.
It's the next goal.
Yeah.
You like hit the first goal, which is like work with them, get the experience, like get the social proof, and then get enough experience that you're ready to grow beyond what they have to offer, because there is a lot more out there. Again, that might depend based on your location. Like if there's more remote, maybe retail is the only option currently available, but that doesn't mean you can't grow beyond that still.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm still in my brain a little bit like torn between, is this an opportunity for when we are at that, like, let's say next stage? Do we speak up to these luxury brands? Do they give a fuck? Does it even matter? If enough of us do it, will it make a difference? If we say like, hey, like it's really ridiculous, you always make me cover up my tattoos or put my hair up, or, whatever it might be, or it's ridiculous that like I can't promote my brand with your brand or whatever. Like, I don't know. I kind of like, I get it. It makes sense that they, they're not going to vet every single artist to make sure that like it's fully aligned. So maybe it's up to, I don't know. I think I just made a full circle that it's up to us ultimately.
It's a case individual basis.
Yeah.
Specific to context.
Context always.
As usual, it's more nuanced than that. Yeah. So a few of the key takeaways I would say would be, one, that the rate may or may not work for you because you want that. Like, it's money. That's great. Up to you. All right. What's another takeaway?
It's okay for you to like reach goals and make new ones when it comes to luxury brands. Like, have a goal to work with a luxury brand. And once you've done it, have a new goal to be able to say no to them when your values don't align.
Be excited when that happens. Celebrate the wins, whether it's the money, whether it's the booking, whether it's the social proof that comes of it, but let that be separate of your value to them versus your value to yourself and your art.
Well, with that all being said, thank you all for keeping up. As usual, you do you. It's your life. It's your business. And there's no one way to do that. And if you super align with luxury brands, then working with them, keep fucking doing that. And if you don't, then don't fucking do that. All right. And then where can everyone find us? Well, everyone can find this podcast at Keeping Up with the Calligs on Instagram. That's where we try to post stuff. Alex here, you can find me at Signs of Our Lives on Instagram.
I am at Cat Lauren Calligraphy. That is Cat with a C.
And you can find me, Hannah, at Tallymark Studio.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for keeping up, and see you next time.
Bye.
Hey.